as probably a lot of you know, the comedy community is sometimes incestuous. And right when I started comedy, I dated another comedian, and I was like very new and like fresh faced, vulnerable. Like that's how this relationship was able to work. It's because I was just didn't know any better. And this guy's 14 years older. He had like what I thought were impressive, credits at the time. So whatever. So we started dating, and we have now been broken up since like 2014. So what is it now? It's 2022. So this is like we've been broken up with for 8 years. This is, and which
Say his
means I
name.
met him like a decade ago.
You can say his
And
name. He said your
okay,
name.
right. I'm gonna say his name because
Okay.
I'm gonna play this
Yeah.
podcast part and kind of dissect it a little bit. So I don't know if you guys have heard me mention it on the show before, on my other shows. My ex's name is Pat Dixon. He had a show on Compound Media. He recently got fired from Compound Media for punching actually me and Keanu's like mutual friend Geno, who if you guys if you
I did
watch the
know that.
Content House, if you watch the
Wait,
Content
that's
House,
him?
yes, Pat punched Geno like a couple weeks ago, broke his jaw in 3 places. He had to get his jaw like surgically fixed. I don't
He's
know,
very
plate.
hurt. Yeah, he was
He's
very
fucking
hurt, by the
very
way.
he's still very hurt, and it's gonna be like kind of a long recovery. He's got to do rubber bands in his jaw at night, and it's like it's not good. And
Damn.
so in the weeks that have followed, it's like, Geno is venting and very upset, but we also hear Pat like basically defending what he did. And it's interesting when you break up with somebody, like them of course from years ago, like what you were in that relationship, but then it's like I also know him now, so it kind of does feel like 2 separate people. But when I hear him talk about like justifying why it's okay that he hit Geno, I'm like, dude, I see a lot of similarities into how he justifies his bad behavior, because it's like I did it for 2.5 years. So he's on this podcast where Kevin Brennan, who also used to have a show on Compound Media, and he's still, in the Compound Media world. He does Anthony's
I
show
love
a lot.
Kevin Brennan too. Yeah.
Kevin Brennan's hilarious.
He's awesome.
Kevin
he loves
had
you too. Yeah.
Kevin had Pat on his podcast. So he's talking, obviously, this is all the juice right now, is all talking about this punch and Geno and Pat and the drama and the firing and who's taking what side, right? So Kevin has Pat on his show to ask him about this, like, why did you punch Geno? What led up to it? And I get brought up, and because he'll explain like, well, I got upset because I don't know, how far back do I have to really like set this up. So he supposedly got so angry because Geno had one of Pat's like recent ex-girlfriends on his show. And
it's not that. I'll tell you what it is.
Okay.
Geno had Bob. I was booked on In Hot Water, right? Apparently, it's what I know. So then, and Geno said, I fucked up. I have to go out of town. And he's like, Bob Levy's gonna host. I said, well, I guess, I mean, if you want me to go in with Bob, I would. I don't care, whatever, or I'll just rebook me. So then Geno said, no, you go co-host with Bob. You and Alan, or just you, whatever. Go do that because I won't be there, but you go do that.
And this was Geno who said this to you.
Yes, I screenshot receipts. I have the whole deal. But when I get there, Pat, he was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna like sit in, and I said, what the fuck do I care? I don't give a shit.
Because he often hangs around.
Yes, and
the
Pat
studio
was that I wasn't
get picked up on a show.
Saying the guy wasn't there. The guy wasn't there. The guy wasn't there. I walked in right when I was supposed to get there. I have the email that says, you do this, get there at this time, got there at that time. But he wanted to say on there, it's a total lie. Well, the guy wasn't there, so
the guy meaning Geno.
He meant the guy, like whoever he booked, because it couldn't have possibly been a woman.
Guest.
It was me. I'm like, I was there. It was supposed to be me, you fucker, you fucking asshole. Like,
so and he just overlooked you as a guest, basically.
Yes, or else why would I have the audacity to sit there the entire time?
You also don't show up unless you're on the show. Like you're not. There's a
Right,
couple
yeah,
people who kind of linger around compound hoping to like be
I
thrown
just
on a show. You're
screenshot
not one of
this
these people.
because I won't. Yeah, I just wanted everyone to know. Hi Keanu. This is from Brooke Carter. That would be the book or whatever. Just reach out, confirm tomorrow at 2:50 in the studio. Geno says, actually confirming that she will get there around 2 to co-host with Bob. Please confirm, Keanu. I said confirmed. Thanks. It's me. There it is. Hello. Pat goes, well, the guy wasn't there. Well, you just assume it was supposed to be a dude. So
Yeah.
like, and I would never. I was like, yeah. What the fuck do I care? Like, oh, fuck me then. So then, because I heard that too, and I was like, what is your fucking problem, dude? I don't know. And then he read the paper and did his whole like stupid like idiot shtick and talked about like hitting
Okay.
women. I'm like, hilarious.
Oh God.
I think that's
did.
why
He
Geno
joked
got
about
mad.
that.
It was right. It's not a joke to him.
Interesting.
Wow.
Okay. So there's like a lot of different theories about why he punched Geno, what led up to it. Some people think
It was that
whatever.
Geno said exactly to
So-
me at least.
This is Misery Loves Company. This is Kevin Brennan's podcast. It is normally behind a paywall. I got this link. I guess they will occasionally put episodes on YouTube. There's also a shorter link. Okay, is this the whole thing right here? Because I have. Where's the full link? Shit. Did I send
I
it
saw
to you?
this too. I watched it.
Can you send it to me?
I'm so glad I watched this on the airplane. Oh my god.
See, I thought I had the full link. Apparently, this is just a shorter one. All right, let me see if Filing Cabinet can send me the full link.
How
This
long
is
did you
so
date
dumb.
him for?
Like 2.5, 2 and
2.5
change.
years.
Yeah, it was dumb.
Jeez. Ugh.
He's always been nice to me, but he's a douche. He's behind your back. Like,
You sent it to Twitter? Okay. Let me pull this up. Okay, this is the YouTube.
Did a lot of
How's
people see him say that? Like, were they watching and stuff? Like, do a lot of people watch it?
what, Kevin's show?
Yeah, like whenever he said this shit. Like,
I
were a lot of
don't
people
know.
watching it?
I don't normally like. I'm only, I only watch this because I'm mentioned. Okay, so Kevin is asking Pat, why did you punch Geno? What led up to this? And then I mentioned, and I think it's kind of curious. Okay, so we're on minute 28. All right, I'll let this play for a little.
I know for a fact. I've asked him about things, sort of similar things before.
And he just
He
pretended
was just
like he didn't.
What do you? He just looked at me like I was a fucking retard. I goes, what?
At Compound?
No, it was about Summit Compound. It was at LOL.
Oh.
At the bar. Yeah. Well, because he told me like we had your girl on again, and I'm like,
So he's setting this up. I don't know why this is relevant, but he's setting this up. I guess so. Okay. So long story short, I dated Pat from October 2011 to June of 2014. And so we broke up, and then for 4 years, I did not see him. I did not want to see him. I did not want to run into him. My mom dies in 2018. I go, like, just through realization, like, I need to throw myself into comedy a bit more. I need to put myself out there a bit more. I need to go on more podcasts. That's when I decided to start, going on Compound Media. I went on Aaron and Geno's show in Hot Water, doing just bit appearances. It would be like me and Mike Figs. We'd be doing characters. We'd be on like every now and again. So Pat is talking about the time Geno told him that I had been on their show.
At
my
LOL?
girl, what are you talking
At
about?
LOL?
No, on In Hot Water.
No, he was. When did he say that?
This was years ago. It was
Oh.
Chrissie.
Oh.
Wait, so yeah, because I used to date Chrissie Mayr.
All right.
And I'm not usually the one that says she talks about that a lot. I never bring it up.
Never.
Like you talk about it a lot.
I'm like, who? What are you talking about? And I was like, Chris, you had Chrissie on? I was like, whoa, I didn't fucking know that. You see, Chrissie had spread a rumor that I hit her during our
But
relationship.
were you mad that he had Chrissie on?
See how he like slips it in there? I spread a rumor that he hit me, and like I'm just going ahead and
Because she
explain
had
it.
spread a rumor that I hit her, and she was a raving liberal when I knew her, and
How is that relevant? First of all, I was a little bit more leftist when I met him, but like
You say that all the
Yeah.
time that you were.
this is open. Yeah, what
Yeah,
does that have
so,
to
like,
do?
Right. And
Mhm.
also, opinions change sometimes in life. I don't know. Are you on
Yeah.
Gutfeld, bitch? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I used
it
to be a
wasn't jealousy
Democrat
thing,
too until
'cause
I
hadn't fucked her
fucking
in years.
Yeah,
wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't a jealousy thing because I remember, like, so I started doing spots on Compound in 2018. In 2019, about a year later, I pitched Wet Spot. They picked it up, pitched it in June. They picked it up in July, and I had heard that Pat had said to them, like, if her show gets picked up, I will take it as a personal offense. Like
What
he
the
did not.
fuck?
He did not want my show being picked up. He did not want me being on In Hot Water. Like from the day I set foot in there, he made it known that he did not want me appearing on any shows.
But
I
Chris,
didn't
you
care.
must know this because you dated him, right? So you must know that he seems like, oh yeah, I don't care. I'm good. I'm cool.
He seems
I'm
like he has a
nice, blah,
small
blah, blah.
dick.
But he must be like just like a little bitch on the inside. That must be
Mhm.
what it is. He
I'm
seems
trying
like,
just to address
don't
like
know him
only
that
what I
well.
have to address.
It's
Okay,
very
so anyway,
insecure.
Okay.
Who cares?
That's good.
yeah, you're right. He is very insecure, but I'm just trying to like set this up to
Just
like
'cause
why
I don't
it's
know him that well.
justified, why this is justified for him to hit Geno.
But what I said to him was, he acts like I said, "Are you fucking her? Did you fuck her?" It's not.
Oh, he was convinced that Geno and I were banging at some point, which makes no sense. And it's funny because like the whole time we were dating, he was convinced I was trying to fuck everybody. Everybody was trying to fuck me. Like he was very much the guy, like you date him. And he was very much like, let me see your phone when it came to just about everything, just like from being booked on a show to like, you couldn't have male friends with this guy. Like everything was, let me see your phone. It was, and I don't
Did
know.
he cheat on you? Does he cheat on people?
I don't know.
It's usually
know
what cheaters do. That's they're like projecting.
Yeah, I don't really know if he cheated, but I mean there was like tons of. It was a very toxic relationship, and I think we brought the worst out in each other. I don't know how he's
still
been
is
with other
toxic.
women, but it's okay.
That I go, wait, there's a lot of female comics in the city.
So he's obviously like. So as soon as I appear on Geno's show, Pat goes, "Oh, are you fucking her?" Because that's how his mind works. He doesn't deal with a female comic unless he's banging them.
Oh,
so
God.
it wouldn't occur to him that like they thought I was funny or they wanted me on.
I mean, what are you
fun.
And that's why when I was supposed to co-host the show,
Yeah, he's like, I don't see no dude.
Yeah,
he's not here. Who's here? The guy's not here. I'm like, I'm right here, dude.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Oh,
Completely different.
oh, so you were kind of annoyed that he was having her on.
I was very annoyed. I was very
you
annoyed.
were?
Yeah, because she was trouble for me. I mean, like she.
Oh yeah, you said
after this.
Did
like,
you hit her?
Well, of course.
So
But don't
he, like,
talk
jokes
about
about
it.
it
I mean,
first.
yeah, don't.
You didn't learn your
That's
lesson.
not for her to
That's
say.
Geno's joke. That's one of Geno's jokes about his mom getting hit by whoever.
Good one, boss.
No, I've seen his act. Geno says I think it's something about his mom and his dad, and she didn't learn her lesson. And,
But I hate women.
right. But you
You
do,
do.
right?
I do, of course. I
It's
don't
like
deny
Barbara
anything.
Walters. It's like a Barbara Walters
right?
interview.
I do hate women, but I don't think that you can love a woman unless you hate her.
Do you guys think that's true?
Now he's gonna go into some sort of thing about hate and love. He's like, but indifference is the worst thing. Like, fuck
Yeah.
you, dude.
Right.
Like,
If you don't hate a woman every once in a while, you don't love her.
What?
I would agree with that.
Because the strong emotions are
Right,
linked. The
right.
opposite of hate is,
Right.
is
Wow.
indifference.
What?
Or the opposite of love is indifference.
No, the opposite of love is hate.
It's indifference, though. Because love is a very engaging emotion and hate's a very engaging thing,
I'm
too.
gonna skip
But hate
past
is
this.
closer to love than indifference is to love.
He's just trying to.
But
All
this
he does
one
is
of that
justify his
philosophical
bad
shit you don't really
behavior.
care for.
Okay, so
Let's take a call.
wait.
I don't
so
necessarily
wait,
disagree
wait.
with that though. Like, I don't know.
So
I feel like
wait,
if you don't care, you just will be indifferent. That's when
Of
you
course.
know that they're
It's
just
horrible. Indifference is
Yeah,
terrible.
I could have
Yeah,
skipped
but
over this part, but like I'm just waiting until he
Chrissie
mentions.
Mayr was
So she was saying, she was telling like people gossiping that you.
all I know is that
Did you ever?
it came back to me.
You never punched her.
No, I never touched her. I touched her a lot, but I never touched her violently.
So this is a flat out, and this is something, unfortunately, like I never wanted to have to talk about because, and I'm only talking about this now because this is a lie. For him to sit here and say like I never raised a hand to her, it's like, so I'm gonna explain what happened, and you guys tell me if you would qualify this as like hitting, right? So in our relationship, kind of controlling, a lot of let me see your phone, a lot of paranoia that I am trying to bang someone else or that other comics are trying to bang me, like that was ever present. And I had this male yoga teacher, and I was like really into Bikram yoga for years. I would go multiple times a week. It was my jam. It was like kind of a craze at the time. Like you sweat a ton, and I'd always be talking about how much I love yoga. And once I mentioned to him that I had a male yoga teacher, like obviously he started spinning like, oh, and he's like, what is this?
That won't do.
Right. Well, okay. So here's what happened. So he's like, he's like, well, what is this yoga? I remember this like clear as day. This had to have been like October of like 2013. So he's saying, well, what kind of yoga is this? Like, what kind of yoga poses are you doing in this class? And I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, why don't you show me some of your yoga poses? And I was like, are you seriously asking me to like show you yoga poses right now, like in the middle of the afternoon? He's like, yeah, show me some yoga poses. Like, what do you do in this class? So I'm kind of like going through the motions. I'm like doing a couple, kind of like, are we serious? Are you? I was like, kind of like, I'm doing it, but like, are we seriously like wanting to see this? Like, and as you guys know, as anyone knows who's done a yoga class, like it's not sexual. Like you sweat a lot. You're wearing maybe tank tops, shorts, spandex, but it's not sexual in nature. So anyway, so I'm like, I fucking hate that I have to talk about this because I didn't want to. And all he had to do was never mention this. And I would have been super fucking cool and never mentioned it either. So I'm doing these yoga poses, and like he was mad leading into this. And so I feel like borderline, I do feel humiliated because I'm like, you're making me do yoga poses for you to prove that yoga isn't sexy. Like, what the fuck?
And by the way, you told me this 6 months ago. This isn't just something that you just made up or something crazy.
Yeah,
you did. I know
this is very much like this can be verified.
Yeah.
It's okay. So I'm doing the yogas, and before I know it, he comes over to me and whack, whack, whack. Not on my face, but like on my side, in kind of like my ass area. It was like, I'll never forget it. It was 3 in a row, hard, malicious, with angry intent. Not a sexual thing, not foreplay. This was not a thing that we did for fun. It was in no way like a sexy, fun thing. This was, he was angry. He was triggered. He had no control over himself. And before I knew it, whack, 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 I fell to the ground. I'm sobbing. It's like I'm in all these feelings. I feel horrible. Like, and again, like anyone who's been in a toxic relationship, it's like, unfortunately, I think it's because of my upbringing. Like my dad spanked me all the time and yelled at me constantly. So for me, like the lights that would, with a normal person, the lights that would go off, like, hey, it's time to like run away from this person. With those weren't going off because of my upbringing, because like my dad is an angry person and yelled a lot and alcoholic as well. And so that happened. And I was like, I hate even that I have to tell this story, but it's like, it's a little traumatizing, but at the same time, like, I remember I slept over that night. I remember I was like crying all throughout the night, and he was like annoyed. He was annoyed that I was crying like throughout the night, because I was like
just reading the paper while you
I felt fucking horrible. And I remember I only told my sister at the time, and I told Corinne Fisher, who was like a very close friend at the time, and then Corinne told Christina, which he mentions here. So I don't know if to you, like, and I would tell myself this, like, no, it wasn't hitting because it wasn't across the face. It wasn't.
No, fuck that, dude. No, like, I would have turned around and just kicked him right in his fucking
at least
nuts.
I'm not like
At that time you don't
you're
know. That's
not-
what makes it even more fucked up. Because
I'm not an
it was fucked
NFL
up.
wife. I'm not getting thrown down
Yeah.
the stairs. Like all these things are
Whatever.
running through my head.
Doesn't matter. It traumatized you. That motherfucker is lucky that you worked in the same place with him and you never mentioned that. You said, let's let it go. I don't care, whatever. Although that's abuse, 100%. You let it go, which is, I get very big of you. He wants to bring it up now.
Yeah,
And
no,
that's the thing
weird.
is all he had to do was never bring this up.
Yeah.
All you had to do was not call me a liar.
What a douche.
He
that
must
I'm
need
trying-
attention or
He
something.
equates me confiding in a very close friend about something that happened to me. He equates that to starting a rumor. It's like, no, I actually literally did the opposite. Like starting a rumor would be like going on all the podcasts at the time and blabbing about it all over town. Again, I'm not trying to like drag his name through the mud. I'm not trying to ruin this dude. He's already
It's a
kind of
difficult
like
thing
down.
to talk about. You
But
work with him.
Once you
would've-
call me a liar and say that I tried to start a false rumor about you, then I have to address it. So I'm gonna see what else he says.
She said,
What was the context of her saying that you hit her?
this girl, let's see, what's that show? The Guys We Fucked? Christina
Yeah.
Hutchinson
Yeah.
told me. She
The
goes,
guys
you know,
we fucked.
Chrissie
What?
told whoever the fucking other girl is, I forget her name, Corinne. And Corinne told me that Chrissie said you hit her. And I was like, what?
What?
I haven't heard anything about that.
You haven't heard anything?
No,
Oh my god, this is like I'm.
Hear ya. Oh.
Fuck! I ruined the time.
Yeah,
My
what's
That's
former
how annoyed I
sidekick is
am.
trying to get me canceled.
What's
He'll
the deal?
deny
I'm
it.
gonna-
But you know,
I'm gonna skip through this because I obviously messed this up. Okay, 20. I think it was here.
After this,
did you hit her?
Well, of course.
But don't talk about it.
I mean, yeah, don't.
You didn't learn your
That's
lesson.
not for her to
That's
say.
Gino's joke. That's one of Gino's jokes about his mom
gonna
getting hit
skip
by
it.
whoever.
It's good.
You know
Love
what that
very
is there,
engaging emotion,
too?
and hate's a very engaging thing.
You know
What, like
that
just
is?
joking about
Oh
it?
yeah, of course I hit her.
We all joke about things that
They're
are like
joke-
in
that are-
comedy. There's always nuggets of truth mixed
No,
in.
no. An abuser like him will be like, "Oh yeah, I hit her." Like OJ wrote a book. If I did do it, we know OJ beheaded that lady, right?
Right.
Okay, like this
It's
is what
very
they
weird.
do. He's like, "Oh yeah, I hit her." He's making a joke so people laugh, but he knows he did it. You know he did it. It wasn't that he was
Right.
punching you in the face all the time, but it still was
Right. It was
not
once.
good.
It was malicious. It was angry. It left a
And you
handprint.
never brought it up.
Yeah, never brought it up because I'm not trying to be known for that. Like up until this point, I was only known for being his girlfriend. I was like a fledgling comic trying to sort of like get out there and establish myself. It's like the last thing I wanted was to be known as like, and again, this
Yeah.
is like Me Too era. And it's like, it was embarrassing and it was shameful. And
It's
that's
not
why I didn't want to
shameful
see
for
him for
you.
4 years. So it took 4 years before I was even comfortable like bumping into him. That's why I was like kind of nervous for years. Like I'm going to bump into this dude one day. And I told literally my sister and Corinne Fisher, and that's it. So it happened in October. And I remember that Christmas, my mom and dad said like, Pat is not welcome at the house for Christmas. Like you can't bring him here. Cause my sister, of course, like told my whole family. And I remember like, cause I'm in it. I'm still in it. I'm like in the relationship. I was like annoyed that I couldn't bring to the house, but I was like in this very toxic thing.
That's how abuse works. People don't understand it, but that's how it works.
And yeah, I was like telling myself like, oh, well, I did make him angry. Like, oh, I mean, I wish I could go back to like myself and fucking shake myself. But again,
You
like
made
you
it.
live, you learn, whatever. All
I
right,
don't
I'm gonna-
understand why he's bringing this up at all. It literally was out of
Exactly.
nowhere. Like,
But I think now that I hear him talk about this, I go, oh my God, this is why he didn't want me coming on Compound Media at all, because I think he is afraid that I was going to tell the story when really I was being fucking cool and not mentioning it to anybody because
yeah.
I don't want to be defined in that way. I don't want to
He
be like,
knows that you never brought it up before then, and he still did it. So why?
And it would
Like-
never define you. He should be defined in that way.
I
Because
just don't
he's a fucking
understand.
weirdo abuser who's like, show me your yoga moves, and then he like hits you. What a fucker.
I don't know
Okay.
why he's
Sucks.
bringing it up.
and I also just felt bad that I wasn't like didn't like leave right away. Like I think I dated him maybe another 6+ months because I remember like it happened before Christmas. My family was like, you can't bring him home for Christmas. And then we broke up in June of 14. All right, so whatever. I'll play this again.
Too, but hate is closer to love.
All right, this whole fucking
Told me,
rant.
she goes, you know, Chrissie told whoever the fucking other girl is, I forget her name. Corinne. And Corinne told me that Chrissie said you hit her. And I was like, what? I haven't heard anything about that. And then so I asked Chrissie about it, and she was just like,
He had to ask me about it? Are you kidding me? This is a total lie. He didn't ask me about this. And in his mind, I think he's convinced himself that what he did is not considered hitting. Like in his mind, maybe he thinks
he knows
it was like a playful spank. I don't know. I don't know if like he's truly delusional or he's just that bad of a liar.
But she's like,
no, he's just saying it on a public platform. To just fucking gaslight you more.
I've never talked about this ever, so maybe he's thinking, oh, I want my version of the story to be the one that's out there. So in case it does come up, people go, oh yeah, he mentioned that. She's lying.
She wouldn't say anything about
either way.
Just kind of stonewalled. I was just like, this is kind of important. You know?
She's basically saying she is saying that
but I don't think so, because
she's not denying it.
Because then she went on Keith and the girl, you know, when they were shitting on me.
And I didn't bring it up on Keith and the girl. And I remember like they're like a podcast that's been going for years and years. And I remember they really didn't like Pat, and they really wanted to like hear some dirt. And I didn't, like, I talked about that our relationship was toxic, but I didn't bring this particular point up because again, I didn't want to be known for that. Like at the time I saw it as like a weakness. I was like, I don't know. It made me feel bad about myself. So I was like, I'm not going to mention it.
Whatever. But they were shitting on me at the time. And some of that stuff's come up too. About me being a sexual predator or something. Because I insulted the host. And it's just like with Geno. Once you insult somebody, hurt them in some way, then it's like character assassination.
Right.
All this shit that's never been brought up before.
That's the exact opposite of what you do to him. You never character assassinate him, ever. Mm-hmm. Geno doesn't give. He told me when Geno texted me when I went and did that show. He said, I did not want Pat there. I didn't want him there. I don't know why he was there. I was watching the show. I have no idea why he was on there with you guys. And I feel like weird about it. So they were fighting about that. He's character assassinating you right now. The only person you've told me that story only because I told you like some other like stuff about me and we were just like conversing because we're friends. You've never mentioned a word about him like that ever, right? Yeah. Character assassination. Geno's just the nicest dude ever. Fuck that.
Yeah, right? And I just have to address this. I'm not like this is never. I would never lie about something like this. Are you kidding me? And so it's like, let me tell you guys the story. You can decide whether you can consider that hitting or not. But like, if you're defining it by like striking someone out of malice, like out of anger, then like absolutely that happened. You know.
I consider it
thrown down the stairs? No. Like was I something out of a Lifetime movie? No. But
I mean, but still, he was humiliating you, and then did that makes it worse. Sorry, like there's no reason for him to make you do that. That's fucking weird.
And so when people go like, oh, like so it's like I see the parallels of he's filled with rage, and before he knows it, he's clocking Geno in the face. It's like kind of similar. Like a person is triggered, and before you know it, they're doing something like fucking crazy, like a very bad judgment call.
He could have looked online at yoga poses.